everybody, and welcome to Damsels and Dice.
Where it's a little dicey.
But this is how we roll.
I was not prepared for that.
It's too late. Where's your dice roller?
Oh, look, it's going to be a good day.
It was not a good day.
It's not a good day.
Not a good day.
I don't think we have any relative announcements or anything other than you all being at a guest location. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it. What do you all remember from last time?
Aren't you the
Lots of stuff.
recapper? You should recap.
I mean, I'm just asking if you remember stuff.
I remember nothing.
I remember I could definitely read my notes if I need to. Let's look.
Well, for relative brevity's sake, let's go ahead and roll right into it. The intrepid adventurers, having signed a blood contract after realizing that a particular group of individuals was pursuing them for various crimes and deeds that they have been involved in,
Fair.
the group managed to go to the area of interest, a town known as... Sorry, Alfrine. In Alfrine, they were supposed to retrieve somebody that this group, this strange group known as 11 Spires, had requested them to go to and free someone who had been captured from their organization, saying that their personal identities had been compromised and that they themselves could not actually enter the city. There were some drinks had and some very rash plans later, and after a series of questionings and good cop, bad cop, it was revealed to the main chief that they were indeed working with 11 Spires, as that was technically not in the contract that you could not speak about such things.
If it had been, we'd all...
Upon this information,
I'd be dead.
an entire afternoon and partial evening was set into place for planning, and everything went better than expected. Traps,
Right about that.
seemingly not as severe. Conversations with the prisoners, smooth. And you were able to retrieve this particular individual, but not before encountering one of the other prisoners.
Oh.
An individual known as Skios Bonner. Also, upon your all's hasty exit, you came across a particular individual who you all were questioning in the very beginning. Cast friends, or charm person, one of the two, and realized that this herb lady was actually the culprit behind several brutal murders
I knew
that had been
from the
taking place.
second I saw her out that window getting help from two guards that she was sus. It had to be her. And I was right. I wrote it down in my notes. I was like, check her out later. Like, literally, I wrote down exactly. Because I remember writing it down, like, herb lady or something. Super stuff. I'm about to find it.
You all returned Autar Breville, the individual who you obtained from the dungeons, back to the 11 Spires, the individuals who had been camping slightly outside of Alchrine. Upon this relative conversation that you had of returning this individual, you saw that one of their individuals, part of their party, was missing. A young boy who you partially obtained for a certain amount of days before he rejoined his sister. Now, the path before you is laid out. You all did ask a particular individual. Oh gosh, I just lost his name. It's not Tarragon. It is.
Which dude is it?
What?
You asked him to stay behind to help out with. Oh
The
gosh.
mansion
Oh
dude?
gosh.
Citron?
Citron. There we go. Citron. You asked. You asked Citron to stay behind like, I thought of his name and then I was like, it vaporized right before my eyes. You asked Citron and a few of the others to potentially stay the evening as you all spend some time resting, relaxing, figuring out what your next steps are going to be. Your dreams that night and your relative battle right before getting clean. Lots of interesting conversations were had, one of them with Wyatt and the other with Jasper. Another with Malik, as it was revealed to you, Talavin, for the first time, that your oldest brother, Bjorn, is actually still alive. And evidently running the city, your city, that you grew up in all your life. Until you were 12 years old. Or so.
Yeah.
After a full night's rest, you all woke up relatively
I
refreshed.
technically took a point of exhaustion. I don't know how to do that really though.
Why did you take a point of exhaustion?
Because remember, I stayed up and I researched, and you said if I read all of the books and took thorough notes, I would take a point of exhaustion. I don't. That's just
That's
what
if you
said, I
didn't
was just being honest.
But you did sleep.
Technically, yes. But you said I would take a point of exhaustion. I was just being honest. If you don't want me to take a point of exhaustion, I'm not going to force it on myself.
If you stayed up, if you pulled an all-nighter, you'd be taking a point of exhaustion, but you did fall asleep. After watching Zoom stop for a second outside his door, you rushed in, ignoring him, and then went to sleep. Right there by the door, blocking it, so he couldn't get in.
I would hope he wouldn't.
Trying to get into the door.
But anyway, the day is yours. What do you intend to do with it?
Oof.
Oof.
Every time we start playing, I'm like, am I part of it? Am I part of it?
Like, how do I play D&D? How does this get started? I don't know.
How do I play this?
What is D&D?
Probably a little bit.
Well, I suppose once Nora woke up, she would, there was something she wanted to do. I'll probably go wake up Talavin. Let's do that.
You probably find her clutching her pillows to her chest, just in bed, staring at the wall.
She slept by the floor.
Oh yeah, no, she's definitely still sleeping.
You slept by the door. She's still sleeping by the door.
I'm probably still asleep because I went to bed late. You might have to push her over to get it.
I'm gonna knock on her door.
Talavin very faintly in that bliss of sleep. You're still emotionally drained, but you hear a faint knocking.
Are you awake? Talavin.
I guess she'll kind of like eventually rock kind of up and then just kind of like stand up looking disheveled as fuck. You know,
you hear your vertebrae
nice
as you get up, and there's a crick in your neck. There's a little bit of a crick in your neck as you stand up. Oh.
And then I'll just open the door, peek my head out.
Oh my.
You see your cousin there.
Are you okay?
I just didn't get much sleep last night. I was researching, you know.
What were you researching?
Monsters. Yep.
Find anything interesting?
Nothing that I was looking for in particular.
Oh, okay. Lovely.
Yeah. Who knows, maybe if we ever go to the fire plane, it might be of use to us.
The fire plane?
Yeah, I don't know. Citron didn't really have a lot of options with what I was looking for, so maybe if I ask him, he'll know where to look. But
what exactly were you looking for? You said you were just researching.
Damn. Okay.
I let it go the first time, but this time.
I was trying to find some more about the thing that my brother made, or whatever deal he made with, or whatever he has. I was seeing if I could find something on that. but he didn't have anything.
Ah, that makes sense. Well, next time, maybe I could help you look.
Yeah.
Ah, I did not mean that to sound condescending. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
It's just I want to find Taldinian as well.
Yep, no, it's
He
fine.
didn't look too good when you scried on him.
Well, surprisingly enough, he actually looked better than he did before, so.
Alright.
It's so hard when she knows what's happening, but Nora doesn't.
I know so much. Nora doesn't know anything. Okay. Well, I guess do you feel like doing some morning training to get your mind off? I'm still very sore from yesterday.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you guys still have those deep set bruises. Even though you all did technically get some rest, there are still moments where you go to reach for something and right under your side where you were hit with the flat of the blade, just that deep penetrating bruise just hurts.
Like maybe not sword play today, maybe just the
fists.
No, I'm talking. I'm gonna look around. Is there anyone nearby? That could
is there anybody looking around?
With your passive perception, no one else is awake yet.
Okay, maybe like the wings. I want to just summon my wings.
Well, okay. Well,
I should not have said that out loud. I'm so paranoid. We're good.
So paranoid.
It's fine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'll be fine. We can do that.
Alright.
Cool.
I'm gonna
just. Yeah. Okay.
go.
I'm gonna get dressed because I'm.
You are dressed.
Still in my PJs.
Did you change?
Yeah, I put just a slip-on shirt and shorts.
Okay.
I'm gonna go put my clothes on. No. I'm gonna go put my clothes on real quick.
I'll be waiting for you in the training area.
Okay.
Conveniently located across the hall.
Conveniently located across the hall.
Yes.
Alright, and then I'll go over there once I'm done getting dressed.
Shirt, pants. Do you choose to wear shoes, or are you just gonna go in sock feet or whatever?
Barefoot it is today. Fuck it. I guess since we're not gonna.
As you step out,
I'm just
everything already.
No armor, just regular clothes today, because I don't need armor to train for wings.
Yeah.
If she wants to hit me, she just get advantage on it.
There's no armor on.
Yeah, there's no armor today.
There are clothes.
There are clothes.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, the moment you divulge of your tops and your bottoms, the spectral servants come in, pick it up, you take it off and begin cleaning it.
I don't know if I can get used to that. It's a little weird. It's a little almost invasive.
I thought you meant in the training area. I'm like, we should no. It's fine. In the training area.
I'll bring my whip with me and secure the door.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm terrified of finding out. I don't know why. Alright. Would you like to go first? You
want me to go first this time?
You can do yours almost instantly.
Sometimes. Alrighty then. I will do my one roll. It's a wisdom saving throw.
Alright. Yep.
16 plus 7 is 23.
Plus 7. Come again?
23.
No, your wisdom.
Plus 7.
You guys go through this every time.
We literally do 4 plus 3 is 7.
Okay, I just wanted to know if you had an 18 in wisdom. I was just checking.
I do have an 18 in wisdom. Yes, Madison.
Every time. It's like,
we do this every time.
You're not wise.
It's terrible because she's actually not wise. I just made it her highest one because D&D told me to.
It's okay.
You take that moment as you exhale. You already feel that energy coursing, pulsing through your veins. And there's a moment where it's weird. You just think about it. Just this little fragment of notion. And as you step forward, your wings emerge, these dark gray fading into white. Little sparks of electricity and the lightning etched into the edges.
Bro, it's still exciting every time, though. Like, my heart starts to beat a little bit.
Look on each side. You do a little figure eight, little swish before they lay back against your shoulders.
All right. I will reach out and grab Nora's hands.
And
I'll be like,
still out?
with my wings still out. I'll be like,
Would
all
you
right,
like
your
to-
turn.
Would you like to try to extend your... Okay, never mind.
Well, let's get yours out first, and then we can practice that.
Okay, if I can get it out in under a minute. In 1 minute or
Got 10 tries.
Got 10 tries. Oh, shit. Okay.
This is awful.
I guess, I'll just start repeating the same things that I did for her the day before. And just, like, hold her hands and, like, give her positive reinforcement. Do you want me to say something every time to give her advantage, or...
No, but for the relative sake of brevity, you all have an idea of what it is. Nora, make a charisma saving throw.
I can do this. Come on. Alright.
Come on, Nora.
Okay. 17.
17. You exhale, and you let that warmth from your cousin, the touch of her fingers, help that spark. And you already feel it starting to draw from your core, that flicker, pulling from your fingers through your chest, starting to push through your veins. Another charisma save.
Tainted 20.
Tainted 20. It happens faster this time, like water rushing over your body. Just this gush of warmth down your arms, beginning already to draw up. Make another charisma saving throw.
That's cocked. $23.
23. Already you feel it drawing up your spine, every muscle, every tendon, everything just beginning to pull up to the top of your head. This is... you've got about 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
Or,
But
Talavin.
That was only 3 tries. $22.
As you feel that energy coalesce, this burning, brilliant energy, it goes up through your chest to just by your shoulder blades, and it fades. Before these midnight blue wings fluff out beside you, dipped in silver, sharp like blades.
It's just this dog head.
Both of you now are standing there. Talavin, you've got, 36 seconds or so. Technically out of your minute.
Okay.
Do you want to concentrate on them and try to keep them out longer?
Yeah, let's try that.
Do you want to just meditate and think about them? Maybe try to get to know them better?
Yeah. Like,
let them try to become
feeling.
more part of...
Let's take them to dinner.
Because whenever you practice stuff, you get better at it. Right?
All right. I'll like kind of sit down.
I'll sit down
like,
across from her.
Cross-legged and just kind of like get into like a meditating stance, because Talavin knows what that is.
Yeah.
Sure. She meditates.
Sure. Not really, but sure.
Not really, but sure. And she's just gonna think about like she's just gonna try to like feel like how like just like try to like I don't know like feel how connected they are with her and like try to maybe just get like a better feeling for them because she's always kind of thought of them as like something that happens sometime, like just like almost like think of them not as like a separate part of her, but more as like an extension of herself. Like she doesn't just sometimes have an arm or sometimes have legs. She always has them, and so she's just gonna try to like think about that and try to just like get a better feels for them as a part of her and not as something of an outside force of her.
Yeah. Good.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not very good at
And
this.
focusing and concentrating. Make a Constitution saving throw as you sit there for your remaining 30 or so seconds.
Constitution, not great.
Mine's not good either.
Ooh. 13.
13. As that time passes, as you're feeling the way your shoulders interact, you can feel almost as if there were an additional bone, this ethereal bone connected directly through your shoulders to these magnificent celestial wings. You can feel that bit of concentration as you are focusing on how they're connected. There's just something almost unnerving the way that this bone, this additional thing that was never there before, but is just gliding just under your skin with it. You already hear a couple of the feathers fall off, but they are maintained.
Oh, you
Another Constitution saving throw.
Oh, that's a little better. 16.
16.
A little better.
It's a strange sensation feeling something falling from you, almost as if your hair were just barely grazing your back, and then just wisping away in the wind. It's the way some of these feathers feel as some of them have fallen. That you concentrate harder, you begin thinking about how you're connected to them, you begin thinking about all your training with Bay. You can feel that there's this retraction, like this, almost like a Charlie horse. It's trying to seize up, it's trying to leave. You're not letting it.
Terrible. Oh.
Final Charlie horse. But you're maintaining it.
Okay.
You're doing good.
I'm gonna try to like.
Nora, you've got about another 30 seconds, and you're watching your cousin sweat just a little bit. You feel it on your brow when this Charlie horse sets in.
I'm gonna keep thinking about that, but I'm also gonna think about that like rush of energy, like in the beginning, that like feeling of like when I first get them, that like rush of energy that kind of comes over my body. That's like almost like not painful, but like a relieving feeling.
I'm going to give her. I see the beads sweat, and I'm like, "Oh, you've already extended past your time. You're doing a great job. Not breaking your concentration, though."
Disadvantage. No, I'm just kidding. Make another Constitution saving throw.
11.
11.
It's too hard.
Even as you're focusing, even as you're concentrating, that arch in your back, as they're seizing up, as you're maintaining that focus, it just gets to this breaking point. And you swear that your spine, every part of you, is going to rip in half.
Oh no!
And you have to let it go. As you exhale, you let the energy release, and little sparks of electric energy just cascade off and absorb into the ground. They have faded.
How much longer did she go past a minute?
She went an additional 18 seconds.
Wow! Look at that. I will will myself to keep these rings out.
Right about this time,
Oh!
Nora,
Did I notice anything that I thought about in particular that like helped me keep them out longer?
This is just your ability to endure what is naturally supposed to conclude.
Okay. So, AKA, I need to get that Constitution saving throw up. Because it's a plus.
You just need to endure it. Endure it all. Nora, right about this time, you also feel this energy, this bursting life, this bursting energy beginning to fade. Make a Constitution saving throw.
13. I think that's what you got.
Yeah.
13.
But mine's probably lower because my wings are developed.
The first little bit, you feel them beginning to fade. You try and clutch onto these threads, these tendrils, strings, anything that you can. You begin thinking about how hard it was to obtain them, about the encouraging words of your cousin. And as you're trying to grasp onto this, all you hear is ching, 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 as the silver tips are beginning to molt into these little fragments, these metal shavings before dissipating.
But they're still there?
They're fading fast. They're fading fast.
Okay. Ha! I got a natural 1. All the blades come
This
in and make that.
sensation of these things essentially being pulled from you, this connection that you have, just them falling away, is unsettling to your core, and you let that break your concentration. And before you can grab onto any of those tendrils, those threads that are connecting you together with these celestial wings, dissipate into smoke and dust.
Just saying. We never tried to get them back out after we've gotten them once.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, we could try that, but I feel like I have to roll like a nat 20, that'd be 27, and I feel like it still wouldn't be enough to get them back out.
We can try.
I want to try.
I
Just
would
as I
try.
see hers fading, like, I want to try. Just see if it, anything. Nah, it's not a natural 20, it's only 17 plus. It's only 24.
24?
20.
You take that moment, and as you're concentrating, as you're focusing, you do feel that spark, that internal spark.
I'd have to roll a natural 20 to try to get it out, probably. If it was...
It does start, instead of being able to just step into it, you feel it crawling down your shoulders, crawling down your limbs, achingly slow.
I want to try again. I want to try to keep pushing it. I just want to see what would happen. I mean, if I start hurting myself,
Go ahead.
I'll probably
See what
stop.
happens.
But like, oh, I don't like that.
See what happens. Go ahead. Keep rolling.
You
Fuck
can
it.
do it, Talavin.
Oh! 19!
19 total?
Yeah.
It's just, there's progress being made, but you feel it just dripping, just crawling through every muscle, every fiber, every tendon. It hasn't even reached your fingers, and already this energy feels like it's going to tear you in half.
Come on, Talavin. It's not.
I'll try one more time. Just
It's not my consequence.
No consequence.
painted 20. It's only one better. It's not good enough.
Painted 20. You feel it pulling down your spine.
It's working.
You feel it dripping into your legs.
I mean, it's not
feel it
causing
moving.
me damage yet, but like,
You feel it
oh, I
moving
knew it could just
through your body. You feel it reaching the tips of your fingers. You're beginning to wonder if your force of will is going to be strong enough.
Do I hear my subconscious saying anything, perchance? I hear like that, oh, woe is me voice in the back of my head, being like, you're a fucking idiot, stop this shit. Anything? No? If she's okay with it.
What was that?
For that
Natural
now.
one.
Yeah, that's one.
No!
You're doing so well.
As you pause for that moment, as you feel this energy,
Okay.
as you're forcing
Yeah.
back this energy, resummoning it, there's that moment where you wonder, could there be any consequences? And you find that fraction of a second, that moment of distraction, the consequence sets in immediately as you just feel this intense burning through every single vein where you were originally concentrating on this radiant energy. You take 6 points of radiant damage as you feel it just coursing in
resistant to radiant damage. So I only take
resistant.
3.
Yep.
Does it count if
You just
Does
feel
it
this.
count if I give it to myself, though, technically, I guess? Alright, 1, 2, 3.
You feel your hands beginning to seize up, lock up. You feel your body once again trying to convulse into that Charlie horse-like position before. Your core is tensing. Every bruise. Actually, what your passive perception is like 16 or something, right?
Mine is 17.
Yeah. 17. The bruises that were forming before are spreading. You had whelps on your side where you were hit very hard. And instead of them being the size of the normal blade, this very thin blade, they've almost now doubled in width along your side, along your arm.
Blood starts running from my nose and my eyes.
You convulse and die.
What do you do? What do you do?
I'm gonna heal Talavin.
No, don't. It's okay. I'm gonna try one more time. No. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go and be like, oh, okay, we're done. I'm gonna ask May about this later.
You exhale, you stop concentrating on it. You feel the energy fading and dissipate, relinquishing your body from this intense burning pain. The bruises are still present and still exasperated or expanded. They have not furthered.
Okay.
I kind of like, oh.
Well, I wasn't gonna try that, but
Yeah, maybe let's not. Maybe later. Maybe when we get really good at it.
Well, you took the first leap of faith. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Do you feel like standing?
Yeah, I can get up.
I'm gonna help her up.
It takes a second to stand. For a moment, your vision swirls. That almost pinhole vision tries to take you just at the very edges, like a vignette.
As I have her hand pulling her up, I'm gonna heal her 3 points back.
Okay.
That means I have 3 left. For the
Good.
record.
Good to know.
Hopefully nothing really bad happens today.
I'll have 3 points to heal 3 of something.
1 of something or 3 of something.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to do now?
I don't know. Take a nap, really, but I don't know. Was there anything you need to do? I mean, I know we can only. Do we need to talk to Citron? Do we want to stay here longer? Do we want to move elsewhere?
I think it would be beneficial if we could ask Citron if we could stay for a few more days. I would like to try to finish my bag of coaling because that's been a long time coming, and I would very much like to get it complete.
I'm sure we can find him. Perception check. Is there anybody around, perchance? Do I maybe, sneak in through, a sprite side door?
Perception check.
Oh,
Because, I mean, I'm sure there's other ways besides the 2 doors to get in. That's cocked.
we didn't.
I locked it. Natural
didn't
20,
ask
27.
We didn't ask the
Servants to, say anything. Yeah, 27. Do I see any shadows
Glancing
at the door?
Left and right, you don't see any shadows at the door. No additional shadows by the various pieces of training equipment. Nothing by the sand pits, nothing in the area.
Is there anything up?
I look
No,
up.
nothing up.
All the sprites
Nothing
are
up.
there.
Aha!
Well, yeah. Shit.
That's too bad.
Okay. There's that natural 20 I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
All right. Well, let's go down to meet everyone if they're awake. We go downstairs.
Talavin looks like shit now.
I'm like,
Even worse than before.
is she wearing long sleeves?
Yeah, you had a couple of bruises where she came down on your shoulder. Like, you both came down on each other's shoulders hard a couple of times, using the gravity to your advantage for your one-on-one fight, just for fun. Some of the bruise has just barely peeked up beyond your collar. Nice and dark.
I'm gonna say also, just because of last night's events, she probably just looks like a little bit tired in general. Maybe some eye bags, little hazy bit of like a hazy expression, probably a little disheveled looking, just in general. Maybe like not her usual uptick in her mouth, maybe just like kind of like thin lipped a little bit, not as usually she has just like a small smile on her lips sometimes, most of the time, but maybe today almost a downward.
Are you sure you're alright?
Not happy.
Yeah, no. I just
Insight check.
didn't get a lot of sleep.
Okay.
Did I beat you up that
Insight
bad
check
yesterday?
versus deception. Well, actually, this would be you're trying to deceive. Yeah, deception versus insight.
10 to 20.
12.
12. She's not being entirely honest. You get the sense that no, she didn't sleep well, but you get the feeling that there might have been something else to do with it. Could it have been possibly because of that massive electrical explosion that you saw? Maybe that has something to do with it. You're not sure.
I forgot about that.
But you feel like she's holding something. You feel like she's holding something back from you.
Wait.
Like there's something more to the story that kept her up.
Like
Remember-
what just happened?
No. Bay, it was the first time I got to see Bay since I unchained her. Yeah, and so there was a massive electrical explosion that sent me tossing through the air.
Okay. I forgot about. Okay, we're good. I'm like, all right. Well,
These will go away eventually, right?
yes.
I'll kind of just like,
Is that you? Type?
yeah, I have like a, it's just like a white, slightly collared shirt, and then it like, it has like a tie right here, and I just tighten it up a little bit instead of all loosey goosey.
Yeah.
But you can probably still see him up. It's fine. It's fine.
It's just slightly discolored underneath of the, just by the collar. You can't tell entirely, but if somebody looked close enough, they would notice that you probably have a bruise there. If they're paying attention, if they're even like scrutinizing that.
And there's no one who pays attention to you.
Nope. Nobody.
There's nobody.
This
Alright.
dog literally.
You make it down the stairs and see that Jacob and Wyatt are already downstairs eating breakfast with the sprites. Zoom has yet to come down, but you do see Jen, Talal, Citron, Ginkgo went home the night before to see and ensure that his wife was very well loved.
Good for him.
You also do see Spice.
Spice?
Spice is there? How does she look?
She looks bright and just she has a very introverted, very quiet, softer personality. But you can see
I think so. So does she know her dad was alive? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Remember they were having a conversation with Spice the night before
Okay.
whenever I was running Susana. And you didn't ask, and you can't read lips.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't actually know. You remember? Okay. It's been a week. I mean,
It's been a while
I
now.
mean,
It's been a week. It's been a
My notes
whole
are
week.
good, but no, they're not that good.
Alright. Just kind of nod a good morning to you.
They basically have a small dining table on a dining table
Yeah.
in order to eat with everybody.
Well, that's nice. I just kind of nod a good morning and find a place to sit. Does Talavin sit next to me?
Wyatt, who's like his legs are kind of drawn up to his chest. His head is just resting on it as he's just eating quietly. His hood pulled up over his head. Jacob is kind of picking at his food a little bit, but the sprites overall seem to be in a pretty good mood.
Oh man.
Talal looks a little bit tired.
He looks tired.
Looks
He was
a
up with
smidge
me.
tired.
He was up with me too. So yeah. Oh yeah, I was being nosy and he was being unnosy. I forgot about that.
Unnosy.
Being pokey.
Yeah.
I tried to be pokey, but at the same time not pokey. But he was just kind of like, no, let's talk about you and Zoom. And I was like, no. Okay.
What do we talk about?
I don't know. I'm just gonna
There's a buffet laid out before you. Lots of there's some bread. There's beautiful fresh baked loaves. Just different cinnamon buns. There's something that is akin to gravy, although it looks like there's some chunks of meat or something. Little platter of bacon. Just various miscellaneous things.
I want the sweet thing. The cinnamon bread.
Talavin,
You take the cinnamon bread. It's lovely.
She'll just gather up like a few small things and then just kind of sit and pick a little bit.
Citron looks to both of you and says,
good.
I hope you slept well.
Yes. I slept very well, thank you. Did you?
Of course. It's nice to be in a bed once again.
So, do we have a relative plan for the day? Are you all planning to return today?
If you have no further, he leans back with his. He actually has like a little tea set. He's actually drinking tea. He's like, if you no longer require any of our services, we can return to another directive.
I did have a thought on that, if you don't mind.
Yes?
Nora looks timid. Would it be alright if we used this space for a little while longer?
Of course.
A few days, perhaps?
Few days. That shouldn't be a problem. I can make the appropriate arrangements back home. Are you nervous?
Slightly.
You can see that just his wise older eyes.
Such a grandpa!
He has this grandfather feel, the way he smiles, and you can see that before there was just this overall tiredness to all of them, given the events that transpired. Not but a month ago. But now that he's taken time to recuperate, now that all of them have had time to return home, there's more of this grandfather-like feeling to Citron.
Can I adopt you? Can you be my grandfather? I don't have any family. Be my grandfather.
I don't see why not. Although it will make the reunions rather interesting.
Did that just happen?
Yeah. Yes, it did. I told y'all, be careful what you say all around.
It's fine. I'll bring presents. I love it.
Yes,
Yes, but of course.
there was a particular project I wanted to finish before setting out and having to travel around, which I don't know where we're headed next. Do you
Talavin's just drinking her tea, listening quietly.
Like addressing the table. Sorry, I cut myself earlier. Let's see. We were planning on heading east. We had a long conversation about
Yeah, I know.
east.
We're gonna head west. I mean, where you came. No!
No!
Don't want that. Yes, headed east, but we don't have a particular destination in mind. Is there any particular place anyone wanted to go? I don't have a particular directive. at the moment.
Jacob at this point kind of pipes up and he's like, not to be a downer on anybody or anything, bring up some too serious topics early in the morning. But that weirdo that we saw down in the base level. What? Do you think he was telling the truth about any of it?
We both
You see Talavin kind of like take like a sharp breath in a little bit and then like exhale really slowly and just be like, yes, I think he could be telling the truth.
I agree. I think he was telling the truth. That was not the first of that information that I had heard.
Right. I mean, if he wasn't telling the truth, he's a scumbag liar. It's that's one thing. But if he is actually telling the truth, because I don't even know how to go about any of that. But I've got something to think about. I don't know what I'm doing today. Wyatt, who's still just crunching away. He's not saying anything. Just keeps eating. Like I don't really have
expressions. I know he's probably super hard to read, but like when Jacob says that, like, does he react at all? Like, does he look like he's thinking about his future plans, perchance, and just not sharing with the group?
No. You can. I mean, if you're curious about what his potential mental state is, you can roll an insight check if you want. He's not saying much, but his overall demeanor. I mean, you know how he usually acts.
19.
17. Something definitely seems to be on his mind, but he's not usually a chatty individual in the first place. So whatever it is, he's keeping his cards close.
Does it look like he's thinking about something good or bad, like something that's upsetting him? Do I get any vibe off of like that, maybe? Like, does he look like he's thinking about something that's upsetting him, like he did the day before?
Quite possibly, yeah. He's not thinking happy little thoughts. He's definitely dwelling on something.
All right. Well, I guess Nora just finishes her cinnamon bread and starts enchanting. I mean, I didn't have anything else. Just nothing else.
Who wants to help Nora get this bag of Colden done? ASAP, y'all!
I want to get it done, gosh darn
it.
Damn. At which point Jin pushes herself away from the table and says, if you would like any assistance, I can certainly do what I can. Like, Tala, did you need me for anything? She leans over. She stood up at this point. She's just leaning over top of his chair as he looks up like, no, go on. So,
for a split second, I thought she reached out her hand and was going to say he smacks her on the butt. I was like, but then she didn't. I was like, oh, no, yes. There were so many conflicting emotions in that moment.
Are you feeling all right? She just brushes the top of his hair with her fingers that are just draped over the top of the chair. Yes, just a little tired, that's all. You go and help her. I'll find something to preoccupy my time. And she flies over and is like, well, let's get started, shall we?
Literally, Jin can never die. She is number one, bro. She's so awesome!
Thank you, Jin. I would appreciate your help. Because Nora has no reason not to accept your help. We're good. Let's go.
Of course.
I think I'll do the enchanting in my room this time. Hang on, question.
All right.
If I mess up the
Yes.
carpet, is there carpet in the room? Like, doing the sigils and stuff? That wouldn't mess it up, or...
I mean, you could just work in the forge where you love to work.
Let's work in the forge! I like the way it smells.
I mean, there's a forge, but I mean, it's not. I mean, the entire room isn't carpeted. There are places where you could go. And what you know about enchanting is unless the enchantment is supposed to be burned into a particular area or is supposed to be inscribed in a particular area and just stay there, kind of like a booby trap, it would the sigils themselves actually pull away from whatever you were writing around onto what you're enchanting.
Okay, good. So I'm not going to mess up this imaginary mansion's carpet. Good. Let's
No.
to the room.
The thread count will not be affected by enchanting.
Hey, I don't want to... We're a guest. I don't want to be rude. Okay. To my room. Let's go.
You all head up to your room. Shuts the door and she goes, "This room is wonderful." Just seeing all of the teapots, this kind of Alice in Wonderland-like area that is surrounded by forest and this fireplace, it almost looks like it's made of this white chipped brick. It has this almost abandoned feeling, but also it fits well with some of the teapots that are just hanging aloft, spinning in the air.
I do rather like this room. My last one was very militaristic, so I thought I'd go more whimsical this time.
I see.
What does your room look like?
Pardon?
What does your room look like?
Oh. I don't know if Tala would appreciate me telling you.
Oh my. Well.
Push the question, ask her what it looked like. Talavin would. She'd be like, "Oh really? What does it look like though?"
I won't tell him that you told me if you wanted to. Nora gets like a little mischievous. Just
roll a persuasion check!
She's never mischievous.
A persuasion check.
Oh, persuasion. 12.
12. She just looks and gives you a wink, and she's like, "You should ask him that question. Watch what color his ears change to."
Talavin knows what she's going to ask later. No, I'm just kidding. But maybe though.
But maybe, but possibly, but also yes.
No, but yes. But metagaming.
Of course it is.
Alright, I'm gonna do the sigil.
You'll begin your enchanting process. In the meantime, Zoom does end up coming down for breakfast. Jacob and Wyatt both are like, we're gonna go train upstairs if that's all right with you, Sir Citron. He's like, it's not Sir, it's simply Citron. And of course, feel free to use any of the facilities. I intend to abscond to the library if you should require my services. At that point, he actually looks like Spice. I don't know if you'd rather have this conversation with me or if you'd like to have it with Talal, but we have a little bit of news that might pique your day.
They haven't told us. I'm not there.
Talavin kind of perks up with this information and kind of looks at Talal, but she won't say anything right now. She'll just kind of be like, I'm just kidding. She'll just kind of like...
You always explain these emotions, and then you're like, but she doesn't show it.
I have nothing. I do nothing outside.
That should be else, but there's not.
She kind of like side glances at
Talal. Roll a wisdom save to see how much you actually show, but it's fine. Talal at that point, he's like, no, I'll go ahead and have that particular conversation. I suppose be at the ready. Citron just gives a nod and flies up to what looks like this small, you almost think it would be chipped, this particular column, but he flies over to this particular column and just vanishes into it.
I get him. No, I'm just kidding. I get him and go look at it now. Okay. I just kind of look. I'm like, I wonder. Like he vanishes into the column, or he just like gets sucked up.
He vanishes into the column and then is just gone.
It's like a hidden
So he just
wall.
like...
There's hidden places in this place.
Oh no. There's hiddenness
It's Citron. What do you think was going to happen?
I want to know it.
So, like, that one time, just that, like, Jester turned into a cat in Caleb's mansion and, like, went and saw, like, all, like, the, like, secret things. It's kind of like that.
There are inner workings of all sorts of places, yeah.
I wish I was a druid. I would have transformed into a cat right now. I need polymorph! That would be weird.
Yeah.
That I could finally get
He looks so bright. When Talavin, he's like, Talavin, perhaps this would be I'm a private conversation if that's all right. Just gonna walk over here with Spice.
Nope, you're fine. I'm just gonna drink my tea. Or would you like me to?
They walk over to the side, and now you and Zoom are the only ones left at the table.
I saw that coming. I'm sorry.
No, I did too. It's fine. I was like, the second I don't get up from this table right now. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Okay, how far away did he sit from me? Like, where did he sit?
He's not at the opposite end, but he didn't sit right next to you. He's like a couple chairs off to one side.
So, like, if the table's like a rectangle and I sat like down on one, like, did he sit like on the other side of the table and down a couple chairs, or like did he sit on like the same side as me?
Yeah.
I'll get up and like scoot down so that I'm like across from him. My little, I don't have any food anymore. I just have my little teacup. That's actually just not a giant mug of alcohol. And I'm just kidding. It's just tea.
It's a massive mug. It's a massive flask.
You won't get it until you watch the 99. Sam Riegel lives forever. That man's iconic.
He's currently just he's poking at some food, but he's eating. He's definitely enjoying the cinnamon bread. It gives you that very, very sweet smile, and
I'll give him like a small smile back as I'm drinking my tea, and I'm just kind of like, we gotta go. I don't know. What do I want to say something right now? I guess I'll just ask him what he's gonna do. I'll ask him for permission. I don't usually ask people for permission to just invade their brains. I'll be like, can I? Okay, and then I'll link with him.
Same cold shiver goes down both your spines as the link is established between the two of you.
And so what are you doing today? Got any plans?
No, I wasn't planning on anything in particular. Seems that everybody has something to do, and I don't.
I was just gonna maybe do some more research in the library. That's about all I have really plans for, I guess. I'm not very good at planning ahead on things like this. Nora's better at it. She always has something to do next.
She's organized.
Yes, I'm not.
She's very organized.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to, you could.
Company?
I was gonna, and if you want, you can join me in the library. I could show you a couple more things if you wanted while I'm taking notes.
Nods vigorously. Yeah, I'd like that. I mean, I can't, I don't know too many of the letters, but I can do what I can. I
can just show you stuff for now. I mean, I don't know. I was researching last night and I didn't get very far, so I don't know how expansive Citron's library is for things that I particularly want to look into. We'll see. Who knows? I might just end up reading something for fun today.
I'd like that.
Cool beans. Why don't you finish up your breakfast? I was gonna go check on Warrior real quick, and then I can meet you in the library in a little while.
Inhales the rest of his food.
Oh damn! Damn it! I needed a private moment. Shit. Okay, it's fine.
It's all gone. He's like wiping off. He's like, I can help you take care of Warrior.
Does his mouth have full into his brain.
Yeah, does his mouth so full?
In his head, as his thinking voice has he can't help himself.
I, no lie, laugh a little bit. Just like a little bit. I'm just like, I choke on my tea a little bit, and I'm like,
He's got a couple crumbs on the side of his mouth, and you're what?
nothing. Okay.
At which point you can actually see Spice is currently hugging Talal around his middle.
Loki, I need to live vicariously through you.
Oh, what?
You have to be there when he arrives.
Okay. Oh no. I gotta ask her things before she leaves forever if we never see her again. Okay.
There's a moment she looks up at him. Her hair is just in this like beautiful, perfectly braided, this long braid off to her side, and she's wearing the little sunflower dress again today. And she just looks up at him, and even at this distance, you can see that there are just tears just welling up in her eyes, just coming down her cheeks just a little bit.
Something good.
Does it look like Talal's able to get off of this table by himself? Just per chance.
He's pretty ingenuitive.
Okay, I mean,
he could
he probably had his own way of getting around. I'll leave it then. I don't know, I'll kind of like look over and feel like really happy for a minute before it diminishes, and I'm gonna go to the barn. Okay.
You head off to the barn. Zoom staying not hugging at your side, but he's still kind of close. He trots along the side.
It's such a bad metaphor. I just want to go brush on Warrior. Give him a couple treats. Maybe, you know. He's a good boy. Oh.
You can see that everything's already been tidied up by the spectral servants. They have nothing better to do. And,
doing all my chores.
Everybody's already been watered, grained, all of the above.
I dump it all out, and I'm just kidding. To do it myself. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. It refills on its own. God damn it, no.
He goes by, giving you a little bit of space, but he goes over to Firefoot, and he just starts scritching on his nose and scritching on his neck. Giving you a moment.
Okay. How far away is he from me?
Zoom, he's probably about 20 or so feet away.
How far is that? Like from here? 20 feet? Yeah, like how far is 20 feet? It's like 15 feet.
Okay, so he's kind of far away.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to say his name, it would get his attention immediately. But
okay, so if I start bawling my eyes out, that'll probably get his attention.
Oh.
Okay.
Probably.
And that would get his attention.
Yeah, probably. Shut up. I'll just kind of like be brushing on him, on Warrior, and like kind of braiding his hair a little bit, just doing a little extra, just trying to, because he's like my comfort, he's like my emotional support animal. Okay, I need emotional support. and just like being around him and like being touchy makes me feel better. I was gonna talk to him, and now I can. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's weird because it's not really a conversation.
You could speak another language.
Yeah, I don't know what languages he might understand.
Grew up in the swamps.
Who, Zoom or the horse?
The Zoom, but I mean, obviously, my horse is not gonna understand Celestial if I start speaking Celestial out loud. As far as I'm aware, wait a second. Technically, Pegasuses are celestial animals. Could he understand me if I did? This is a whole train of
Pegasi aren't celestial.
But not really. That's more unicorn.
They're not really.
I'll just start
unicorns are
speech to him. My horse immediately kills me.
You just see that anime moment where you just turn around, you just see the little pupils from Zoom. flat face, lines over his...
That would literally be so iconic. I just start speaking deep speech to my
I
horse.
thought you did.
No, I didn't. No.
Oh my goodness! I need this animated now. Where all like you've got this smile on your face as you're like just this deep speech just pouring out of you, and he's just in the background.
This sweet little elven girl, and then she's got like the voice of sorrow coming out of her mouth.
I really want you to do it though. Like cannon.
Okay, no, I'll just, yeah, no, I won't, I'm not gonna talk to him because I don't feel comfortable with Zoom being there, so I'll just, like, braid his hair, and if anyone was looking really closely, but I try to keep my back turned as much as possible to Zoom, not that I'm trying to be mean or anything, but, like, there are, like, tears in my eyes. She's kind of got, like, you know that, like, face you make when you're trying really hard not to cry? It is
No.
that face.
It's in there.
And then
Let's
after,
make a general charisma check.
Oh, man, come on. Can I get it at advantage since I had my back to him? Like, what the fuck? Oh, man! My charisma's dog shit! 13.
33.
33!
13?
The natural 20 is not coming in today. It's not having it. Fuck you.
Okay, good to know.
And then after a little while, she'll finally just calm herself down and just emotions off. And then she'll just wait. Or well, I guess are they still technically linked even though she looked away from him? 30-foot range.
You're linked, but in order to have that communication, you have to be looking at the person.
Okay. I'll eventually look back and be like, "Are you ready to go?"
Immediately turns back around, nods.
Okay. And then I guess we'll just go to the library, and I'll set some things out for him to work on, trying to help him learn his letters and stuff and handwriting and all of that before I want to find Citron.
Oh my
Right.
grandfather!
Grandfather, are you here, grandfather? I'm kidding.
Oh,
I do not do that.
in the library.
I do not do that. I might do that one day. Just saying, but not today. It's too soon.
It's too soon. Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon. Okay.
Easy enough. You go in there and you actually see, not in the smaller library off to the side, but actually in part of the main larger library. There's a book set up on one of the end tables. And he's actually currently standing on this massive book, just looking down, reading.
Oh.
Reading by these small torch sconce lights, just very, very dimly lit, are reflected on the pages as he's reading.
After I settle Zoom down, I'm gonna
Like a kid, I'm gonna set him down and stay here with your coloring books.
And get him going on his studies. And then I want to walk over to Citron. How far away is he from where?
About 50 feet or so.
50 feet or
from where you put Zoom, right by the fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just walk up and be like, "So, what are you researching?"
Oh, I'm currently examining the various properties of various magical beasts. Find them, how best to harvest what is necessary. I noticed some of the relative stores are running low back home. Not that it's necessarily any of my particular strength, but having the information is beneficial.
Is this one of the books that I read last night?
No, this is a different book. This is more about the harvesting of animals.
Okay, curious.
He goes over to the bottom of the page and actually with a quick flip of his finger, it turns and he steps back up onto the page.
So cool. I would really love him so much. I was in here last night researching or attempting to research some things, and I didn't know. Well, I asked the servants to help me a little bit, but I was wondering maybe you knew more about it, or if you had books about it here. A certain kind of
Of course.
being that I'm looking for.
I'll do everything that I can. What is it?
Really? No. I don't know what it's called, right? Like, we established that I don't know what it's called. Madison?
Yeah.
Okay. I just have a
Actually, didn't Malik say the night before?
I thought
what it
Malik
was?
told me what it was the night before.
Yeah.
I don't really. Okay, yeah, no. He said that. I have that written down. So now that I know what it is, I can give him a name. I'm trying to find more information on a Rakshasa. What? How do you say it, Madison? You're so much better at names. That. I'm trying to find more information on it. Maybe ways to kill it, if that's possible, or get it to leave somebody alone, or just really anything.
You're seeking out a fiend.
Yes.
One of the entities of the Nine Hells. Whatever for.
It would.
Talavin, are you holding something back? You in trouble?
Not the kind
At this
of
point,
trouble.
he forgets to put the page that he's on entirely and actually flutters up so that he's at eye level so he can get a better gauge of what it is that.
Not the grandfather look. No.
You can tell Graham.
I mean, honestly, I was about to tell him all kinds of things, so I guess it doesn't mean. I might. Maybe not yours, maybe mine. I don't know yet.
I'm not there.
I wouldn't say that I'm in trouble. But I don't know if you know this, but I have a twin brother. And
I was not aware of this.
yes, I have a twin. I have not seen him in a few years. When we were younger, we got kind of kicked out of our home and we were traveling for a while, and we came upon a group that we traveled with, and we made pacts with beings for powers and magics to figure out our life goals and help us along our way. While I was very lucky in the being that I was able to make my pact with, it would seem my brother was not. And I wasn't able to save him before, but I'm hoping by maybe figuring out more about what it is that is with him, I can maybe save him.
You are beholden to another creature.
Yeah.
Do you trust this creature? This is something that we need to assist you with.
Oh, no. I trust him with everything.
Sometimes trust can be misplaced. Obviously, if your brother believes that a Rakshasa of all things can be something you behold yourself to, what is this creature's name?
Is he asking about my creature?
Mm-hmm. You just said creature.
He's a celestial wolf. His name's Malik. I don't know. I don't really usually tell people about this. I think only Nora knows. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be withholding, but I never really know what to tell people and what
No,
to
it's
not
all right.
tell.
Apologies. Knowing that someone is beholden to a particular creature can obviously throw various problems into the mix. I wanted to ensure that your safety was prioritized, as well as the safety of your cousin.
Yes. No, I'm...
Various compatriots.
What did he say?
Your various compatriots.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm fine. No. I got chosen well. We chose each other well. I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm not, hopefully not the issue. My brother was the issue, but he's a lot, he chose a very different path than I did early on, so.
Obviously, if he is involving himself in evil spirits. I can tell you now, I don't necessarily have anything like that in my library, although I do have some knowledge of these particular creatures, based on various studies and readings that I've done independently from my library.
Would you mind sharing?
Of course.
I'm gonna get out my, hold on, I'm gonna get out my notebook and stuff so I can take notes on whatever he says.
You whip it out. Yes, these particular entities can be killed. You'll find that certain magics do not work against them. Certain spells will not penetrate their natural defenses, as it were. The other particular feature of this creature, yes, it can be killed, and when it comes to it actually being ended, the end of this particular creature, how do I put this? It doesn't like being killed.
I probably could have figured that out.
And will make a point to come back and ensure that the person who ended its life suffers for it. The only way to permanently destroy such a creature is actually to travel to its dungeon, its home, within the Nine Hells itself, usually in some kind of fortress. You must find it and kill it there before it has a chance to come back to this realm. If that answers your question, of course.
You mentioned that it's immune resistant to magic, naturally?
Immune. Completely.
To all magic.
Practically, yes.
You don't happen to know anything that it isn't immune to? Just swords, regular swords, it's not immune to?
I did not do extensive research into this particular creature. It just so happened that it came up in various discussions, and I happened to learn what I do know now. These particular creatures are very sinister, if they wish to be, but they are not without a sense of duty, if that's even the right word for it. His elderly brow furrow as he's trying to recall additional information. Says, these creatures do have a sense of duty and responsibility. They're highly intelligent creatures.
But what would they have a sense of duty for? Creating chaos? Like what?
Service themselves, of course.
So
they have a set of rules, a set of guidelines that they adhere to. Whether or not that actually plays out to the benefit of others is an entirely different matter. If your brother is learning from such a creature, then it undoubtedly would bequeath some of its knowledge to him. Which is no comforting thought, and I apologize for it.
It's not your fault. Okay. So, super hard to kill. It's nice that he's been with him for how long now? Okay, cool. Wow. Alright, how's Zoom doing? If I look over, like, is he still busy at work, not paying attention perchance to us?
His tongue is slightly stuck out, and he's holding his quill absolutely wrong. But he's tracing the letters. He's writing out what he can on the parchment.
Adorable. Okay, still recording.
Perhaps you gave me this information, Citron.
Yeah. You mentioned a moment ago that these beings had been brought up in conversation before. When? Maybe with who? How long ago? Not to pry too much if you don't want to tell me, but I'm just curious.
Oh, this has been years ago. Years and years ago. I was a little bit sprier in those particular days. Worked particularly with the various guards and tactical defenses. Not that I was necessarily a particularly good fighter when it came to brunt and brawn, but when it came to intellect, I certainly had the advantage. We were building up various defenses further south many, many years ago. Goodness, it's been an age. And for this particular instance, it came about on how to defend against various creatures from other realms. We ourselves are used to creatures from the Primateria plane and the Feywild, yes, but there are other realms, other existences, other alternative realities that we have yet to tap.
So you might know a way to defend against this type of creature.
Oh, it only came up in partial conversation, and that's why we initially did research into it, but immediately following, there was a rather grand event, the return of the dragons. You probably weren't born yet. These particular entities came back, and such threats seemed to fade back into the shadows. The immediacy of requiring such knowledge, at least for my time where I was no longer necessary.
So the presence of the dragons seemed to, in a way, scare off some of these things?
A great number of the dragons. That's where we originally acquired much of our knowledge. They were the ones who helped bequeath what we know mostly about magic.
Hold on.
It was when they left. They were the ones who managed to help alter the memories of everyone. They were gone for ages and ages, and there were no traces of various relics of them even being in existence. They were trying to protect it, of course, which is why certain uprisings, certain entities, why different civilizations rose and fell, because they had removed themselves entirely until the return of the Dragon Rider, Charlemagne.
Question, DM.
Yes.
Is he saying that the sprites helped the dragons wipe everybody's memories? Is that what he's saying? Okay. That's the vibe I was getting. I was like...
He's saying way back when the dragons were the ones who were responsible for this kind of magic. That, whenever the realms were initially created, and he goes on to tell you this, like, whenever the realm, if you ask him about it, that is, but when the realms, whenever existence, essentially, like, they're the equivalent of the Big Bang for us, or whatever, our creation, the dragons had a huge hand in this particular world. And they were the ones who helped create the lands, as well as some of the other major deities. So, like, Bahamut and all of his followers, all of the dragons all of the metallic dragons who owed allegiance to him, came in and helped create magic, helped imbue it into the land, helped create the land itself. And then it wasn't until much, much, much later when, it was after the Dragon Riders and all sorts of other stuff that the Great War happened. The War of Forgotten Memories, where a bunch of stuff was going on at the time, but essentially the dragons were all of a sudden being blamed. Everything was beginning to turn against them, saying that they were the ones who were causing all of this destruction. And after they ended the giants' uprising and their whole destruction of the land, they bamfed out. They said, humanity is not ready for us to be in existence with them. Whenever when the first rider returns, we will return, and hopefully society will be ready for us. And so it wasn't until thousands and thousands of years later that the first dragon rider was once again born, who is now Charlemagne. One of the major figures in bringing about giant peace in Afiovion, the continent south of you.
How long have the dragons been back?
About 100 years or so.
She's like trying to go through all her notes, just like,
He stops flying at that point. Whenever you eased his mind, he's now sitting back down, and there's actually like he calls one of the spectral servants over, and they have a small armchair that they set on top of the books, and he's actually now sitting down in the armchair as you are frantically combing through your notes. And eventually, you don't know when it happened, as you're just poring over this information, but there is a new teacup right beside you, and there's one that for him. Tea is also brought at some point for you, Nora, although you're not quite sure when that happened.
Nice. It's so nice. I'm still enchanting away for my 5.5-hour session.
Yeah, poor Jen, she's got to go the full 8 hours.
Technically, I could get 3 sessions in a day.
Yep.
Technically. So
Technically, yes.
Yeah. If I did nothing else.
Yes.
So, DM, I'm looking over at these notes, and I can't remember if Malik was telling me about what happened originally before this got taken away by the dragons, or if he was telling me about what was like how it started after the dragons, like more currently, with saying that like the experimenting began in the east in small towns, that they were taking matters into their own hands to enhance their power and unlock effects. It was the 2 names you gave me were, if I can't read my own handwriting, Ellen McKenna and Yostin Landvin.
Yes, it's McKinnon.
McKinnon.
So it's Ellen McKinnon and Yostin Landvin.
Yeah.
They started experimenting with stuff, so that they were the ones who they started trying to enhance various abilities. They started taking different matters, started to experiment with different magics. Over time, different magics have been introduced. I mean, like the dragons were the ones who initially brought it here. But when it came to like altering different things, like the huge, like one of the universities, one of the schools, it's not Yala and Theos. There's a university further south on Afiovion, which is known specifically for wizards and new magics, new adjustments to various spells to make them quicker, to make them more efficient. Some people are developing new spells. Huh?
Althaelor? Isn't that the
Yeah, Althaelor. Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's yes. Yeah. You're so good.
I've been there.
Althaelor, which is what she was. They had this they still do. They have this massive university down there specifically for people who want to dedicate themselves not only to learning magic, but furthering its So various experiments, trying to adjust various sigils, trying to create new sigils. A lot of the budding technology essentially happens in Althaelor. Not that it doesn't happen in other universities, other places. Another university, which is known mostly for its musical prodigies, in Therium LSI. That's one of the universities on Rafflesia. They're also known for having a more chaotic sense about bringing about magic and how to adjust and go about things. Not that they're opposing forces, but they have different tactics they go about it. And so up in the north, there's not a lot, because the east is so constantly in the state of turmoil. Very rarely is there peace completely in the northern or the eastern part of Croix Calacia. That
Like there's never been peace? Or like, is that more recent
usually
as well?
in a constant state of turmoil. The most they've ever had quote unquote peace is between like the 4 or 5 major territories. And they only quieted down for maybe 10 years.
What 10 years was that?
What 10 years was that? That was before you were born. This has been years ago. They're always quarreling. Different people are fighting over different territories, adjusting the property lines, arguing about the property lines, and then there are always usurpers to the various noble families. Which is why some of the older names, like the Beschelder family, that's why it's such a staple, is because they're known for just always being there. All of these other families just come and go, just in and out the door, trying to rise to power and then maintain that power.
How many old families are there?
From the east, Ellen McKinnon and Jostin Landvin were both from the east and were experimenting at the time, like way back. They were experimenting with magic.
Or after the dragon?
This would be right after the dragons left, based on the timeline.
After they left,
because the dragons took a lot of what was theirs. They took a lot of their magic. They didn't absorb the magic. They didn't pull the magic away. But all of their theories that they were working on, nope. Humanity's not ready for us. Humanity's not ready for what we have to offer. We're bamfing it back with us.
So then, could that be what they meant by they took something that belonged to us? Okay. So I'll just ask him if he's heard of either one of those names.
No, he hasn't.
You wouldn't happen to... I know we mentioned before that they found the results they were looking for with Hhatu, if that's the correct term for them. You wouldn't happen to have been in contact with a community of them that... I don't really know how to like broach a subject about like this, because I don't know what if you all communicate with each other or not. But have you heard anything about like a lot of Hhatu's mysteriously disappearing or not coming back, or have you heard anything about like their cities being burned down?
They themselves don't necessarily have societies of their own. The fact that any Hhatu actually exist at all is a miracle in of itself. Sprites and pixies physiologically are very similar, but when it comes to conceiving, it becomes an entirely different matter. There are only a few who actually possess half of one, half of the other. Usually they've either one ends up continuing to live in a particular society, whether or not the parents are able to stay together is the primary subject.
Interesting.
So the pixies primarily reside back in the Feywild, you understand. They have to maintain so many different elements of life there. It's really quite extraordinary.
He's saying pixies remain mostly in the Feywild, or Hhatu's remain in the Feywild? Pixies remain primarily in the Feywild. Very rarely do they come and reside here solely. We sprites are different, of a different kind. We are here to help maintain and protect the forests that are created here.
wildlife, the various elements of civilization that need to continue to be untouched by various human and the like civilizations.
So, curiously, I assume it would probably be
Although
hard to...
spring is upon us.
What?
Mm.
What do you say?
Pardon? Oh no, I had a side thought.
What was that side thought? I didn't hear it.
Well, it's spring. It is a time of spring, of life, rebirth, and some areas are not thriving as well as before.
In the Feywild or in Prime Material Plane?
This plane of existence here.
Is it because there are less of you? No. That sounds terrible. Is it because you all aren't in the same areas as you were, or are people preventing you from going back? Not that I would want to go back.
No. I have some letters to write. Just had a thought. At any rate.
Share your thoughts. I'm always curious to help.
There's no particular way to prove this, but based on what you were saying about the research that they were doing, about these various elements that it seemed to work well with the Halfers. If spring isn't thriving entirely, it must mean that someone isn't doing their job. Correct?
Correct.
If spring is not overabundant, it must mean that the pixies have been detained.
That was actually...
Or have possibly caught wind of what's been happening to us and are steering clear of certain areas.
I mean, that was actually my next thought, is I was going to say, have you maybe perchance been in contact with pixies to see if maybe they have gone missing? Because I know we said that a lot of sprites have returned, but I was curious if there's not technically a lot of Happas.
A vast majority, other than the individuals who unfortunately failed. I believe the vast majority have indeed been returned, in various states of existence, of course. At any rate, I won't know anything until I write. Do you have any other questions, or...?
No, I think that's all for now, maybe.
Very well. Gets up from his armchair, leaves the tea set. Says, I have a few messages to send then.
Thank you.
If you require anything, just feel free to call. Gives a bow and flies off.
Talavin's OCD is like, God, no.
He tries writing with his other hand, which honestly looks a little bit better.
He's left-handed! Wait, whenever he shoots a bow?
Yeah, when he shoots a bow, which is his dominant hand?
This is right.
His right hand's dominant? Ah.
Really, that's interesting. So he technically could be ambidextrous.
Or she could have just said it just because.
Yeah, just because.
Yeah, you
know. I'll go over and like correct his hand position a little bit because she's got like a twitch watching him a little bit. Just yeah, okay. And then she's gonna ask the servants for some. Well, I guess she can't really use paints in her notebook because it'll get all wonky. She'll ask for some like different colored inks.
Right away.
It's so weird.
In about 3 minutes, they come back, and it's almost like that crazy device in Toy Story. They come up with this box and set it out, and then has levels on levels and levels and levels. Then one of the drawers comes out, another drawer folds out, and on the inside
like
there's
Toy
this
Story 2 where he's got all these like stuff in it. Yeah.
He's just. It's just this massive thing that folds out, and just tray after tray after tray of every colored ink. Is that
No.
all you require? Ooh.
That's all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Talvin's gonna trying to make sure nobody's like peeking over her shoulder or something, or like watching her. Like she's like sitting across from Zoom with like her notebook kind of like up, not trying to like appear sneaky, but like she doesn't want anybody to like see what she's doing. But she's gonna draw, paint, sketch something. What on like one page it's gonna be what the last time she what she remembers her two brothers and herself looking like the last time when they were together, and then what like a picture of what she looks like, and then what she thinks her two brothers look like now.
Okay.
And her two brothers kind of have like a general, well, all three of them as the older picture, they all have like a general like dark shadow kind of around them almost. Just drawing stuff out. And then maybe there was something else I wanted to draw and I don't remember. Oh, she's gonna ask the spectral servants for like a book on butterflies, and she's gonna draw out on a page just like all kinds of different colored butterflies, and she's gonna eventually tear it out and give it to Spice.
Good to know. As you're sitting there,
she's gonna think super dark thoughts for a little while and then do butterflies.
I'm gonna draw dark shadows. And then, at one point, and this is right as you get ready to start working on the butterfly wings. Like you managed to do a couple of sets, and they're turning out beautifully.
So that it like looks like before, where like if she were to like lay down on it or like prop it up, it would look like they were big enough for her.
Aw, that's really sweet. Right as you finish your second set of these, just tracing these like almost like moon moth wings that are, it reminds you of the translucence that Jen has, this iridescent, this very, very light kind of purple color. You hear? Followed by the very faintest footsteps running. Running. It's Talal.
Oh, it's so
cute. Very, very faintly here. Spice, you're so much faster than I am. And some more. As Spice flies over, Talavin! They found him! They found him! You can just see just these big anime tears just welling up in her eyes. And like, I talked to Citron. They're going to try and bring him home. They're going to try and bring him here tonight. And I get to see my dad.
I'm so excited for you. It was very hard to keep that a secret, not going to lie. I just didn't want to like burst it out. I knew for like a day. Just like one. I didn't want to really be the one to like, I didn't know it was on Jen until I would tell you. But I've been very, very challengingly not to tell you. But I'm so happy.
I'm so excited. I'm going to get to see Dad. And she just goes over, flies over to Zoom. And not knowing what else to do, she's kind of gotten more comfortable with all of you over this particular period of time. She actually goes over and it mostly hugs the quill, but also like hugs like the tops of Zoom's fingers as he's writing.
Oh, I love Spice so much. She's so cute.
When she sees the different spectral servants, she flies over to them, starts telling everyone. At which point, you actually hear a very, very faint thunk. When you glance over, it's embedded in the armchair is this little hook. And Talal is currently scaling the side, and eventually he makes it to the top and just... He's out of breath, but he just gets up there, just sits on the edge. Like, she has so much energy.
Yeah, imagine even smaller ones with even more energy that don't listen.
No. Oh, dear.
It's called children.
Well, hopefully, Jen will be able to keep up with them. Can't run as fast as she can fly. He just looks over and just sees flying over to all the social things.
Well, you're giving 110% though.
Certainly trying.
I'm so happy.
Anyway, it's about time we've managed to hear something back. Honestly.
I'm just glad it was good news.
Agreed. It's a shame about her mother, but trying to focus primarily on the positive. Hopefully her father can find a better way to release that particular information to her. Actually, I was hoping to talk with both you and Zoom, at least while she's preoccupied. Zoom at that point, it just gets his attention enough. I know. I know I have no particular right to ask this of you, of either of you, of any of you. After everything that we've done, after everything that you've done for me. But I'm about to do something very dishonorable and unthinkable. It's been in the works for some time, and I suspect you know what it is that I'm planning. Possibly.
I don't know. I'm not as insightful as you would think. I might have 1,000 different things, but just continue.
It's high time I ask Jin for her hand, properly this time. Not as a forget-me-not, not as an element. He glances around, makes sure she's not there, in order to obviously ask for her hand. I've been planning various elements, things that will work for both of us. And I also have the ring, which you helped procure the elements for, which I don't know if I ever thanked you properly for it.
You don't need to. I just cannot wait for you guys to get married.
Knowing her, she'll want it to be quick. She'll want it to be a very, very fast process.
Eloping is romantic, although I don't really want to.
Everything we've done essentially is elopement and abandonment of various stations and statuses, but it doesn't seem to matter. Oddly enough. The thing I must ask, which is absolutely unthinkable, especially for someone in my particular status, is for an element of my life back.
Yes, but what do I need to do?
You say it so lightly. As you both are well aware, I owe you both my life many times over. But a marriage, you need to be able to offer. You need to be able to offer your life. You need to be able to offer all of yourself for this. Looks down at that mark, at that very small insignia that he made initially, signifying a life debt. I know this is something that I could never pay back. But this is more of asking permission to take a piece of it, just for now.
No, really, yes. How do I help?
It's more just of a consent element. Zoom. Of course you both would instantly say something. Does the life debt not mean much to you?
It's not that it doesn't, but, and I understand, I understand the owing someone something and feeling like it consumes you in a way, but it shouldn't. You should still be able to live your life. I'm learning that, so trying to, at least. Owing someone shouldn't be the only thing that you're living for.
Makes sense. In a way. This is a matter of relative family honor. If anyone else in our particular community were to know that, I owed a life debt and did not at least attempt to try and repay it, or at least receive consent for using part of my life to ask for hers, it would be a disgrace. I have my code. Something that I choose to live by.
And I respect that. To as much as I can. Because you know me.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. We can agree on sometimes. But it would make me very happy to see her happy, which means you would be happy. So how do we do this?
Well, if you have any particular ideas, I mean, I know I have my various ideas, but if you can think of anything that I could potentially be missing, our input is valued. If not, I need to hunt down Spice again. She seems to have eluded me.
Hold on. He's saying any ideas on what? On how to repay this, like, ASAP?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, like getting stuff ready.
Oh, for asking her to marry him?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was like, what can I do right now to repay this whole life debt? And I was like, no idea. Teach me some potions later this week.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
One potion for a life debt. That's all I need. Right before he goes on, be like, I know you will be busy, and anything that obviously you need, you should definitely just ask, because I love planning awesome stuff like this, FYI. And Nora's super organized, so she could probably be helpful. If you need help, if you don't, that's fine too. But I don't know if you have spare time this week or the next few days. I don't know how long Nora's going to need for this bag thing she is. But I was wondering if you could teach me how to make a healing potion.
Healing?
They're really expensive. And you seem to need them a lot.
Yes, you do. And come into a few close calls, honestly.
It's just kind of my...
Right. You're talking about a traditional potion?
I mean, whichever one you can teach me, I will take what I can get.
I know of a few that could potentially benefit you. Whenever you have the time. Of course.
Yep,
of course.
Let me know. I will free up time. I don't have anything to do, honestly.
Oh, very well. As soon as I hunt down Spice, perhaps she would like to assist down in the laboratory.
Would you... I can help you look, I guess. I mean, I don't know if she's around here anywhere. I can go look around if you want to. Or we can look together. Whatever's easiest.
Perhaps a nice hearty shout. He plugs his ears, waiting for it.
Spies! Where'd you go?
He winces involuntarily.
Sorry.
And you hear, coming! She flies back down. You just see this streak of color as she just trailing behind her, wings slightly aglow.
Oh. As she comes in, I guess whenever she stops near us, I'll be like, you want to learn some potion making with me?
Okay, all right. Sounds fun.
Cool.
I can show Father. I can show Dad. Just starts flying off towards the laboratory. He's like,
I can offer you a ride if you want it.
I'm not looking forward to the sprint after her, so I believe I will take you up on that.
I will reach out my hand.
He climbs up onto your hand and up onto your shoulder. Zoom looks.
You can come down with us, and I can give you a few more things to do if you want. Okay, we'll do that.
Grabs up the parchment and immediately follows behind.
I will close up my book, wrap the string around it very well, and tuck it away.
Whenever you all get down there, there's just this array. You have to descend all of the stairs, make it down to the basement floor. And actually, as you all round one of the corners, you actually see Jacob and Wyatt both partially limping away from the training room.
Who looks worse? Who looks worse?
Jacob honestly looks worse.
I kind of like chuckle to myself, and I'm like, "Oh, buddy, it's just too bad."
They're actually. It looks like they're actually heading like for the baths back downstairs. As they're walking, he's like, "Oh, you did not have to go hard." He's like, "That's what you get. You deserved every single hit." And he's like, "I was just." He grabs his collar and pulls him back. He's like, "We're not talking about it."
Definitely watching one of those.
As you all descend the stairs. You make it down to the, essentially it's the apothecary laboratory brewery area.
You said you put it in the bag of holding.
Did I? Okay. I should give that back. Okay. Probably. Continue.
As you take that right into the side room, Jacob and Wyatt continue on down to the left where the the hot baths are. You go in there and Talavin just begins immediately directing various spectral servants to get normal-sized beakers for you.
Okay.
And for relative brevity's sake, that's how you all spend the vast majority of the rest of your day. At one point, Jacob comes in and sees what you guys are doing. He doesn't interrupt. He just goes back, continues on. Spice is getting into every single flower. All of the ones that she knows are safe. That Tella has instructed her that are safe. Completely safe. And at one point, Nora, as you are inscribing, Jin's time comes up and she take a moment, breathe. As you continue, just naturally nod. She's like, "I mind if I just randomly talk?"
Randomly what?
Talk.
Talk.
Yes, speak words. Then
I mean, I know you're currently, you're currently working on all of this, but I've just got a couple of things on my mind. I mean, I don't know if Tala's been acting strangely on purpose, or if he even knows he's doing it. I mean, he very rarely gets moody, or at the very least, he doesn't really show it. But something seems to be different about him over the past few days. I don't necessarily know what it is, and, well, nothing else seems to have changed other than various conversations and demeanor. I didn't know if you had noticed anything, or if it was just me. I wasn't necessarily expecting you to have some kind of response or anything, but I didn't know if you noticed anything. I do worry about him. He works so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Although the bag is going to be a little bit more roomy. I hate to leave Spice and say goodbye to her, but
Wait, so how
at the
much
end of
can
that
I can
particular
talk?
conversation.
Can she talk while she's doing this?
I can give like short answers, right?
You can give short answers, and it's kind of like whenever like a dentist is working in your mouth, as they're like talking, like ask you a bunch of questions. You have to wait for them to like give you the suction or get ready to rinse you out before you can actually respond. So there's long gaps or so in between, like her asking a question or her just saying something into the ether, and you being methodical and working this out.
It could be like her father's welcome to join us. If you want.
Damn.
You know, I mean, I don't necessarily know if she has a really good home life, and I don't know if she knows about her mother yet, but I mean, it's definitely a thought, but I mean, at the very end of the day, she does have a family, she does have a home, and we were only looking after her temporarily, even though I would not have said no because she is absolutely adorable. At some point, you all hear, various knocks on your respective doors, and it's little spectral servants who are coming through. Citron wanted us to let you know he needs to recast. Woo!
Like, shoot! Do I have enough time to finish my?
This would be right around the time that you're getting ready to end your second session, because as you know, it only lasts for
24.
1 day. And so by the time you guys do all of these various activities and stuff, it's getting pretty close to time. So he just sent everybody out a little reminder.
Okay, so I'll finish that session. No, not really.
And then start another. No, I'm kidding.
And then I'll just take we have to take our stuff out, right? Take all our stuff. Just
Otherwise,
grab
it's
in the bag.
ejected. Just
So that's 3 sessions down. Yeah.
and that's 3 sessions.
2, 3. Yeah.
1, 2, 3. You all have to leave temporarily. Everything is brought outside as the spectral gate closes. As Citron is getting ready to recast, everything's. Are there any other adjustments that you require? Or unfortunately, I can't summon anyone.
In the training room.
Pardon?
An obstacle course in the training room.
A few tricks up my sleeve. Let me see what I can accomplish.
Oh! Could I get an obstacle course for my flying horse as well?
I don't see why not. He looks way up at Warrior, who's just massive compared to him. He's like, extra large, just in case.
Really? Was there anything else? Anti-gravity room, maybe, perchance? Something floaty?
Anti-gravity.
Yep.
You want gravity to be negated?
Yep.
Right.
I think that's it.
Goes back. Begins casting.
Kidding, I don't do that.
You can see as you kind of like, he gets just out of the corner of his eyes, just that sassy old man grin. Like, don't you do it.
I love Citron!
We're keeping him. To repay your life debt, you will stay with us forever.
Don't say that out loud.
I do not say that out loud.
No.
Very well. Allow me to say goodbye to my family first.
That would literally just weigh my entire soul into oblivion and I would become a fiend. Did we take a big...
every bit of sadness in the world.
And I need to pee and stuff.
As you
Spell is recast, and you all re-enter. As the majority of you enter, Citron actually stays outside temporarily.
What's he doing?
You can stay if you want.
Yeah, I don't want anything to happen to him.
You can ask him. Ask him what's going on.
Are you good? Do you want somebody to stay with you?
Oh yes, I'm quite all right, thank you. I'm expecting our intended guest.
Well, let me wait with you because I don't want any guest. Spice's dad.
that okay.
I don't want anything to happen upon. I'll just stay out here with you.
I am capable of taking care of myself, but I suppose I could spend some quality time with my granddaughter.
I mean, I'll take it.
You all stare up at the sky and see the hundreds and thousands and millions of stars. Is everything all right, Talavin?
Oh my god. The DM's the worst.
He rolled an insight check.
Yeah,
He rolled an insight check on you.
He said there's something on your mind. This is really good.
What kind is it?
Something vanilla. Chamomile vanilla.
This sounds good. I mean, a lot of things are currently on my mind. I'm just not sure what to pursue currently.
That does not necessarily answer the initial question of if you're all right. Speaking on such matters sometimes aids a troubled mind.
No, I'm not all right. I learned something literally last night, I guess, that took me by, I guess, surprise. And I just kind of wasn't really prepared for it. And I don't know how to really feel about it, so I'm trying to just not feel about it, if that makes sense.
Not necessarily the most healthy outlet, honestly.
Apparently
But thank you for
not.
confiding that element.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there anything we can do to help? I noticed you did look a little bit off at breakfast, but I elected not to pry into the matter. A great number of things could occur.
Yeah. I'm just, yeah, no, I didn't get a lot of sleep, and then I just kind of, emotions aren't really my strong point. And so when I face things that make me emotional, it just kind of has its wear and tear. A little bit more than other things, I guess.
Certainly fair.
Really
Do you ever wonder what secrets stars might have?
What secrets what might have?
The stars. Look at all of them. Out there, all alone. Separated by generations and generations of time.
I can only imagine, I guess. I don't know if I ever really thought of them as things that could hold secrets.
Perhaps they can, perhaps they can't. Do you think they ever feel lonely? If they were, though.
I mean, if they're really that separated, like you said, by time and space, then yeah, I would think so.
I wonder if they had the opportunity, if they would confide in one another.
God, what a fucking granddad. Done. What is my life? Oh my god.
You see some kind of arcane spark from a nearby cluster of trees just on the other side of the field. At which
Saved.
point he glances over and he says, "Sometimes it's best not to be a star." He
Talvin's
stands.
gonna wipe her tear away real quick. He's so granddad-like. It's so sweet.
That was very well done, Madison.
I know. God damn it.
Wow.
The DM's too. She's too good.
At first I was like, this is kind of cheesy, and I was like, oh, there's a deeper meaning. Oh.
I got it the second she was like,
Do you see the face?
yeah. She was like, they're so alone. And I was like, oh, god damn it. No, not me alone. Not me alone. Fucking.
He gives you this knowing look. Just this kind of wrinkled, crested smile just extends up into his eyes.
This total granddad look. I knew there was
Straightens up his shirt as he stands. He says, "I do believe it would be beneficial to greet our guests. It might take them a considerable amount of time in order to get over here."
All right. I'll go with them.
You all go over to the other side of the field and make a perception check.
Ooh, 19.
You get murdered! No.
The lemon fire come back.
No, you trusted Citron! Ah! It was nice. As everybody does. Not Granddad Citron! As you make your way to the gathering of trees just on the other side of the field, you pick this up first, not only with your active but your passive perception, is that there is a familiar-looking individual. Dark hair, specked on the sides, with white. Formal attire, or at least as formal as the current amalgamation of various leaves and other elements of cotton and fabric. It's Tarragon, Lightfoot, a council member who you met a few times before. He spins around. You can see he's hovering just a few feet or so off of the ground as he's looking around expectantly, glancing down. Says, our company has arrived, seems. He and Citron meet and shake hands. Both of them seem to be acquainted, at the very least, with one another. Immediately they start talking in Sylvan, just quickly back and forth, just very rapid fire, at which point Tarragon nods and does produce a couple of small notes written on parchment and hands them to Citron. Turns back to you. Oh, Talavin Naerstar. Absolute pleasure to see you again.
The pleasure's mine. It's always good to see a friendly face out here.
An ally indeed, especially in these strange and troubling times. Apologies for calling on you at such a late hour, although probably could have happened much sooner. Had other precautions been set in place, we would have been able to reunite the family much sooner. On our part, of course.
Oh,
Apologies.
she has been an absolute pleasure to have.
I have no doubt. Especially from the stories her father tells me. Which, speaking of, I've had a relative discussion with him, and he has, relatively agreed. If you were to come by, if you wouldn't mind giving him a hand. I'm afraid that's not really my specialty.
Of course. Anything.
Okay, Citron. Thanks for a second. He shakes his head. He's like, unfortunately, I can't really help on that front either. Apologies.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
Give him
it's
a
fine.
literal hand.
Whatever is necessary. Able-bodied. I don't say that. That's weird. Ready and available? That's weird too.
Ready?
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take another drink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spit that by myself.
I need a real drink.
I'm gonna let you think about your life decisions.
Yep. Thought about. Oh man.
As you do see emerging from the underbrush another sprite,
Are
and
his wings
instantly
completely gone. Like gone.
Huh?
Are his wings like gone? Both of them.
Upon inspection of seeing this individual, he seems relatively hesitant, but as he steps out, you can definitely see an immediate resemblance from the shape of the eyes and the color of the hair. As he does step out from this particular area, it's heart-wrenching, but you mentally prepared yourself. Much like how Talel's wing on the one side looks, although it is shaved almost to the stump.
So it's just the one, though. It's not both. It's just
All of his.
All of his.
Oh,
Okay,
damn.
But the way in which it was severed, it seems like something very similar was done, although much closer to his back. He hesitantly gives you a formal bow as he stands back up. Tarragon and Citron both come over, and they're like, "May we introduce Talavin Naerstar. This is one of a few of our esteemed allies. Certainly one that you can trust in a pinch."
Get it back.
Yeah. No, I curtsy as well. Or, well, bow. I don't really know what I do. I don't know if I'm like a curtsier or a bower, yes.
I awkwardly bend like a teapot.
Yeah, I'll just give like a bow and a smile and just be like, it's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Absolute pleasure. Where's my daughter? Where's Spice?
Across the field?
Right. And some of the mannerisms are very similar to how whenever you first introduced yourself to the different sprites of this wanting to trust, this wanting to move forward and be able to kind of put a lot of things behind them, but also this instinctual block of, I'm getting ready to do something that goes against my entire nature.
Oh.
There's inner conflict, but he's handling it fairly well. At which point he says, "Well, can we go?"
Absolutely.
I mean, it's rude.
So is he prepared for me to just like reach down and like
Yeah.
hold? Okay, I'll do that. I didn't know if they were just volunteering
You
me.
can see that he's psyching himself up. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if they were just volunteering me to just go down and get him, or if like he was going to be prepared for me to do this. I just wanted to make sure they weren't just like volunteering him to get picked up. I'll reach down my hand.
See, there's this much like your meditation of this concentrated, this focus.
And I'll reach down my hand like this so that it's because I felt like that was a little bit easier for some of the less trusting. Instead of like this, where I could just, but like this. Does he want to stay on my hand, or would he be more comfortable on my shoulder? Can I tell?
He immediately sits down on the back of your hand.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Eventually, you do make it back. There are a couple of times where he asks you to just pause for a second as he mentally preps himself. You end up going through the main door, at which point Citron's like, we have an area over here. As he sees the vastness of the inside, he's like, I needed to accommodate for all of our guests. Right. Your hand doesn't even make it all the way to the ground by this area before you hear, Dad!
Oh dear. Oh
and there's just this collision, just this abrupt collision. You do hear crying, not only from Spice, but from her father as well. As he immediately sinks to his knees and just cups the back of her head in his hand, and just arm wrapped around her. His overall physique, he's much broader than the other sprites who you've had time to encounter. But slightly stockier as well. As he just wraps his head, just presses his face into the side of her neck. It's like, you can't really make out what it is that they're saying, as parts of it are in Sylvan. She's just hugging his neck as tight as she possibly can, never letting go. Both Talal and Jin step out at this point, as Spice might have just gotten away from them, as they step out of this area where all of them have rooms much more suited to their physique. They see them just being together, and you can see they clasp hands, and Jen just leans into him, just leans into his shoulder, rests her head on his, just on his right shoulder.
I think I know what I'm doing tonight. I think I do. I'm gonna paint.
Okay.
Both Tarragon and Citron take a step off to the side as both of them begin discussing various elements of business, start throwing out different theories potentially of what else might be going on, where else they might be able to check. A massive search rescue, you managed to pick up, with your all's passive perception, you managed to pick up elements of other search and rescues, possibly being able to find anybody else who might have been left behind or is still captive.
I guess while they're, because I don't want to be nosy or whatever, but I'll eventually kind of drift away and go find that art room.
Was Nora
Easy
there
enough to find.
For the
reunion?
Reunion?
I would say that after a moment you realize that Talavin didn't come back inside, and whenever you come back down, that's right about the time that she came back in, and you see all of this.
Okay. Good for me.
Good for me! Nora got to see this awesome reunion!
Nora got to see the niceness. Yes.
Eventually, her Spice's father just stands up, still holding her legs dangling slightly right by his, and he pulls his head just barely over and just begins thanking them. Just he shakes their hand, also kind of brings them in for a hug. He's a little bit of emotional. He's in an emotional state.
I mean,
at the moment.
He just got reunited with the daughter he probably thought he'd never see again. So yeah. I'd be emotional too.
They're allowed to be emotional. That's okay.
At which point Spice is like, Dad, you have to come see, these rooms are amazing, and just begins pulling him into their little area. And starts telling him about all of the different things. He asks like what happened after. And you get the sense that she was probably separated from them at that time, at that given point in time. So she starts talking about, you just hear like these faint bits of the story of how, she was in the back, and they came and they used branches, and they burst open all of the branches, and it was really scary at first, but then she met Jen and Talel. It just starts weaving this massive story, over exaggerating as most young-ish children do. You just hear elements of it as they walk back into the area.
Eventually, I will find my way up to the art studio, and I'm going to paint like 3 separate little pictures, one of him on my hand, and then her kind of off in the distance, seeing him, and this look of shock or whatever, and then her almost grabbing, arms open, going to grab him, and then them hugging.
Like an action shot.
Like an action shot, yeah. And I'm going to paint it. Because I don't get to carry paint around with me, so I'm going to paint it.
Don't forget what happened to your sculpture, though.
Look, okay, I'm not going to take it with me. It doesn't matter if I can't take it with me, but
Here you go, Paul.
I just want to. Here you go, Paul. It's in ruins, but
at some point.
No, I'm gonna go talk to Talavin before I go to bed.
I'm still in the art studio. Or, well, I guess after I
you're
finish,
on your way.
if, however much time it took me, if I finish before she comes to find me, I'm going to go find my little spot in the astrology room, and I'm going to set it up and just be looking at the stars.
Okay.
Like a super depressed.
You're about 3/4 of the way done
Okay, that's fine.
When Nora comes up. But actually, Nora, right before that happens, as you guys are walking up the stairs, you hear, where'd you get those bruises? Your cousin beating up on you again?
Yes, this is...
Very faint quirk of a smile. As Wyatt is also, walking up the stairs.
Cute.
Oh, Jasper Wyatt!
Oh, woe is me!
Woe is me!
No, it's fine. Yes, these are from our battle yesterday. We had a non-lethal battle, and I was very close to beating her this time. I used to be better at swordsmanship than her, but something happened along the way, I suppose.
I stick to shorter blades myself, then.
I think it's deadly.
Yes, I don't deal much with daggers. I do have a very interesting lightning dagger, but you were there when I purchased it, so that's as close to short blades as I get.
Just talk to
I didn't mean to bother you. I just wanted to make sure that,
No, it's no bother.
They look like they hurt.
No bother. They do hurt a little bit, but I will say that if you look at her bruises, they are worse than mine. Even though
That is not because of you!
She doesn't need to know that.
Wow!
I thought I noticed something by her collar, but I wasn't going to say anything with Jacob there. It's because he might take credit. But I wasn't, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Lavender's good for bruises.
Really?
It helps with stuff. With the oil.
I did not know that. Is this before or after Nora took a bath?
You were on your way to go see Talavin.
So before.
So before?
Yep.
Okay. So, I'll put some lavender on them later tonight to help with the bruising. They do rather sting a little bit, but I heal rather quickly, I think.
Good to know. Cool. Well, I'll leave you alone. Yeah.
Well, tomorrow morning, would you perhaps like to join Talavin and I for the trying out the obstacle course and perhaps the zero gravity room?
Sure. Sure.
Nice. I'll see you then. Jacob can come too.
Okay, I was gonna say he might feel horribly left out, and I'll hear all about it.
Nora laughs just a little bit at that, just like, oh, not like that.
Yeah, such a diva. It's fine.
My.
He heads up the stairs.
Good night.
Else.
Okay, I'm gonna go see Talavin then.
You walk up the stairs and eventually make your way in right as she's about 3/4 or so of the way finished with her various paintings.
Just so you know, I come in. I invited Jacob and Wyatt to train with us tomorrow morning, so we can do the obstacle course
Dope.
in the zero gravity room.
That'll be fun.
And probably no. Just like makes the hand motion like no.
That's
Preferably.
fine. That's fine. I mean, I did get that special one for my horse too, so we can try it out later.
Yes, we can try it out later.
After a long rest, because that was painful this morning.
Yes, how are your bruises? Nora's just gonna check. She's just gonna pull her collar back.
Ah!
Be like, Wyatt thought it was a hickey, by the way.
What an ass. I feel like she just... Whatever. Do they look any better?
Observing.
No, they look worse. It's like whenever you get the bruise initially, and it's kind of that weird purple blue, and then the next day it's got that weird yellow around it. With your complexion, it's just throwing everything off.
You're like, well, Wyatt said that lavender helps with bruises, so.
I'll have to try that
Would
later.
you like to join me later? Or after you're finished with this?
For
A lavender
bath?
Huh?
You know I'm always ready for a bath.
It's weird.
So weird.
It's okay.
I guess I'll just like wave her over to like sit down, and I'll just start talking to her about all the things that I talked to Citron about. Most of the things, excluding anything. Well, I didn't really talk to him about my other brother. So yeah, just anything that I kind of talked to him about, especially, and then as I'm like still painting a little bit,
Okay.
just doing like a little recall.
And as you guys go all the way back down the stairs into the pool room, your passive perceptions both pick up on something.
Zoom's taking a bath.
Oh, oh no. It's splashing, because I was like, it's either gonna be Nora's horse getting reckless in the barn, or somebody taking a bath. I don't know if I'm ready to be painting with a bunch of other people looking the way I do.
I mean, yesterday we bathed with dudes.
Yeah, no, but like I look terrible right now.
Would you like to take a walk instead?
Yeah.
And then we can come back.
Do you want to go check out that obstacle course he made for my horse?
We can go look at it.
Okay, dope.
As you're walking about, you see that actually in the basement there are 2 new chambers.
What? Where'd to go?
You go over to the one, and the hallway's been extended about 50 or so feet where the baths are. Just beyond, in kind of this Y-like split, this fork in the road, there's one door, obviously on the left, one door on the right. You go over to the door on the right, and you open it, and from what you can see, it's just a blank room. Nothing's in there. Apprehensive, naturally, you shut the door. You go over to the left door.
Oh, hell no. Talavin walked straight in, bro. She was wanting for this.
Do you also walk in, Nora?
She's a little more apprehensive than I am.
Watch what happens.
Yeah.
I need you to roll a d12 for me.
A D what?
D12.
It's gotta be.
As you hear,
10.
10.
Oh god damn it.
You step in as these lights light up, and you step forward again. Nothing's there. And you can see at the very end there's this arch. You go to take one more step, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
$12.
12. That's not. You step forward, and floor falls out from under you. I need you to make another dexterity saving throw.
17.
17. You manage to throw yourself back as the floor just drops from under you. Your hand naturally, instinctually, goes back and slaps onto the edge, and you're hanging on. You can see that below there's this massive pool of water. And there's a ladder that goes up the edge. Doesn't mean it's not going to hurt if you fell. You manage to pull yourself back up. Pull your legs back just as the door...
This man's crazy! I run for the door.
Training facility.
That was my anti-gravity room!
I need you to roll another d12 for me.
Another what?
Another d12.
Talavin, come back!
As you turn around and begin running back.
2.
2. You hear this.
I don't have any armor on!
To make a dexterity saving throw.
God!
Mid stride, you look over and see emerging from the walls 4 on each side darts as they stab your arms 4 down one link, 4 down the other. You feel, because you failed your dex save, make a constitution saving throw.
How close is she to the door?
16.
How close is she? She's about 15 or so feet away from the door. What is it?
16.
16. You are stunned. As you manage to take a few staggering steps forward.
What the fuck?
Nora's gonna go save her.
Nora, I need you to roll a d12 for me.
I'll roll a d12, but I will
No.
be cautious because I just saw what happened to her.
You are hobbling slowly forward. You're not paralyzed. You're just stunned as you're just taking a couple of steps forward, and you have to take a few seconds and
A d12.
It's a d12. Oh. I got a 5.
Rocky,
5.
no.
You step out and you feel your foot click. And instinctually, you look back over top of your shoulder. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Oh my god, we're about to get
11?
annihilated. What the fuck? are we
11?
doing?
As you instinctually look around, identical to the one that was in the prison, you see this gargoyle perched up over top of the door as ring of fire just rains from the side. You are actually dealt 2 points of fire damage. You're just blasted in the front with it.
You're new.
Both-
I'm
I'm gonna keep trying to, like, go forward.
I need you to make another dexterity save as you are trying to pass back. You see that gargoyle, this fire burning in its mouth.
No, I'm gonna help Talavin. I'm gonna help Talavin.
shoulders smoldering slightly. You just pat it out and help her back through, still keeping your foot on the plate as you hobble out of the room.
Gosh darn it, Talavin!
What do you mean, gosh darn it, Talavin? Gosh darn it, Citron trying to kill us!
Walk us to our room.
Based on the darts, you're dealt 2 points of piercing damage.
It's fine. So can we look at the other room? I close the door.
You go over to the other room, open it up, and very similarly, it is. It's a blank room. There doesn't seem to be anything in it.
I grab Talavin shoulders no.
But this could be the actual fun room.
You saw those darts in your arm.
That is not what I was thinking when I thought obstacle course, but I mean... It'll be real interesting. I'm gonna try to go in anyways.
I'm gonna push you in.
You're gonna push me in, okay.
The actual fun room. I gotta write it down.
I'm finished. This might actually be the fun room. Nora pushes her in and closes the door.
Oh dear.
And then proceeds to open it a second later.
Actual fun room. I can't with you too.
Title of this episode. It could be the fun room.
It could be the fun room. Did you see your cousin shut the door and there's that moment, that sinking pit. But you glance back and just very faintly spiraling up and up and up and up. These very small magical lights made of these, what look like fragments of crystal and geode, just embedded in the wall, extending up and up and up. The room itself is at least 120 or so foot wide in this massive spiraling arch that just goes all the way up.
Nora opens the door again. Because I said she closed it for a second and then opened it again. And walks in.
You see your cousin open the door.
Yet?
Do you walk further in?
Yeah.
You walk about 10, 15 feet in until you reach this area, which you didn't really get a good look at before, is this ring that, or this rectangle that essentially lines the room and goes up to a certain point. As you cross over these crystals, light, left, right, all the way across the room, you watch all of them just aglow with this magic energy. And you go to take another step, and weightless.
I look back over my shoulder at Nora, and I'm like, fun room.
You still have those needles in your arm, by the way.
It's okay. It's fine.
You get curious. You're like, if I think up, do I go up? And you begin thinking this, and you begin just spinning up. You think down, and you begin descending. You think left, you think right, and you're able to maneuver in this area.
Nora's just staring at her from the doorway, shaking her head.
I told you this was a fun room!
I'm sorry, this is the fun V. The humdrum V's back there.
Yeah.
Nora goes and tackles her.
Oh, I'm in the air, bro. You can't get me.
I was gonna say how you were.
Oh.
You said you went up and down, left and right. That means you're
Just in general direction. As you take off, Nora, you cross over that threshold and you're now flying towards her. The momentum carrying you.
I'm gonna momentum myself back towards her. We're gonna collide. I have the high ground. I have the
like
high ground.
air ballerinas or ice skaters. His figurines just twirling in air.
Yes!
And then one of you mischievously thinks, go faster.
We
Starts
start
spinning fast.
doing a dance. We start doing like a ball dance.
I pause her for a second, and I'm like, I take the spikes out of her arms. I heal her. The last 3 points, I think.
I only need 2.
Oh, I'll give you 2. I only have 1 left. I'll give it to myself.
I give you 1.
Thank you. Fully healed. We're dancing now.
Yeah, no, we start doing like a ballroom dance.
Because
Dancing in midair.
how high does it go?
At least 500 feet high.
We go all the way
Hit
up,
our heads at the top.
back
You
down.
go all the way to the top. And at the top, what you see is a mural. A lined in mural. You can see what you notice. It was, how do I say this? At about 100 feet, you all both, your passive perceptions pick this up. You glance up, and it's a portrait of you 3 of, or actually of the entire group. You can see that there is Talal and Jin. You can see that there's you, Nora, and you, Talavin, and you can see Zoom is also there. As you get closer and closer, you can see there's almost a distortion to your all's pictures. And when you get right up close to it, about 10, 15 feet or so, you see that the reason why it was distorted, why it almost looked, for lack of a better term, pixelated, is because it was actually the names of everyone written out.
More like
Making the outlines, making the jaw lines, making the features, all in different colors. Every single name inscribed on the ceiling.
I'm just gonna pause and. That's a lot of life. That's.
No!
I'm just gonna. Can I float midair and just look at it?
Yeah.
Spread eagle.
Just spread and you just look up at it.
As I float down to the bottom, just slowly. Yeah, just slowly looking up.
I'm gonna like try to memorize a couple of the names that I don't know.
So there's so many names.
And I'm gonna actually, the ones that I do remember and the ones that I already know, I have like a list in my notebook.
There were a few Cypress had told you.
Yeah.
You take that moment and roll an investigation check for me. For kicks and giggles.
Natural 18 investigation 24.
24. You do notice their names are also along the outline, although some of them are slightly grayed.
That's good. How many of them are grayed? Probably not that many. Just a couple.
There are some. There's a significant number that are slightly grayed.
Wait,
Some of them
they're dead, or does that
seem to be. Some of them seem to be as in a memorial, and the ones as part of the colors are part of the ones who you saved.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
As you recognize Talal's name, and the very faint feature you notice is that the names are written in different styles.
It's like they wrote them themselves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like a couple into my brain so that I can
I'm
write them
gonna
out.
take a picture. Oh, wow, that's very nice. Nora's teared up
You
a
just
little bit as it fades on her way down. Tears.
But they
Which,
actually
oddly
fall
enough,
upwards.
they do float.
Alright, bath time if Zoom's gone.
You
Talavin,
can around the corner.
I'm sorry I pushed you. I wouldn't have done it to anyone else.
Yeah, sure. I'm always the guinea pig.
But we established that last
You can't help yourself.
It's I'm all about headlong danger anyways.
This could be the fun room.
This could be the fun one.
Just
We open up
charge
another door and
in.
it's literally a torture chamber.
Push on.
No, that's what Demon Form
Yes.
at one point.
No.
No, yeah. It's the red
I don't know anything about that. I'm gonna go take a bath. La 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 la. Going to put lavender in it. And I'm going
You
to
do
smell
hear
like
some more
lavender.
splashing.
Guys, stop laughing.
splashing.
You're like, well, hang on. So Nora knew that Zoom had a crush on her and knew that he had a confession and has been pursuing her ever since. Nora has not paid attention to Talavin's responses. Or she's noticed but hasn't said anything.
Oh dear.
Like, Talavin, does it make you
What?
uncomfortable?
No, I'm just not. I don't want. These bruises are really dark and they're really gross looking. And it's just a little embarrassing that I look like this. I am a little bit prideful in my looks, okay? I can't help myself. I'm a little vain, okay?
But bruises are kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, not once you puked on yourself.
It
And
doesn't
it just
look like
does not
that.
go with my skin tone.
I mean, no, but the ones you gave me don't go with mine.
Yeah, well, yours are going away. Mine are worse. And it looks like you beat me up. And I beat you up.
Barely.
I gave you a free shot.
Alright, let's go. Into the room. Like, I'm going to keep my
You
head
go
down.
in, and you can actually see Zoom is actually swimming laps.
Oh, we swim in
Well,
black.
as good of a lap as he can, he kind of doggy paddles, keeping his head above the water as he's going back and forth and back and forth. That's why he's causing such a ruckus. See, his hair is just hanging out. He is wearing he's wearing a shirt and some breeches that were brought to him as he's trying his best to swim. He sees you guys and goes so.
Oh my! Way back.
Makes it to the edge, pulls himself out, and
No, we're just gonna go over there in the spa area. You enjoy yourself.
goes back. He leaps back into the main pool and belly flops, sinks,
Oh.
and eventually makes it back to the surface and keeps going.
Ow!
Ow. Been there, man.
Ouch!
It's awful.
Whack! Yeah. Anybody's ever had that happen when you try to dive in?
I'll change into
Like
whatever
it.
I had the other day and make
Yeah.
myself a little lavender bath.
Same.
From where you guys are, there you can't see the main pool. You just slip right into the warm water. The spectral servants again come and offer these various robes and elements and pieces of clothing that you can put on yourself, should you so choose. They've set it by the edge of the pool. Get away.
Okay. After that, I'm just going to go to bed. For training tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna fall asleep in the astrology room this time. The one where you could see all the stars.
You go in there and lay your head back, stare at the hundreds and thousands and millions of stars above you. You can see the swirling galaxies, the strange clouds that just swirl off generations and generations of time away. Something about Citron's words kind of tug at you in the back of your head as you see all of this.
They're tugging.
Doug. Doug. Drugs. Eventually, you both slip into unconsciousness.